Good morning, everyone. Yes, it's a little cool in the house here. Oh, my hair. So I'm wearing my scarf and my hat, but I like it like this. I'm happy on both of my, actually, in all of my children's homes, they kind of keep, right? It's not so hot in the winter or so cool in the summer in their homes. I guess number one, they're aware of that, well, you'll save some money, right? But the other thing is too, it stays nice and how do you say, the air doesn't get so ugh, tight. Right? Yes, it stays fresh in the house when your home's not heated to I don't know what, right? So I don't mind wearing my hat and my scarf. So there it is. And this hat and scarf was made by a good friend that I have, young family too, and had it for many years, and I love it. It's just right for in the house. Yes. Besides, I love the colors too. Wonderful. So I came across something interesting. Uh, where did the names of Adam and Eve come from? And Mom doesn't really think a whole lot about that kind of stuff, but I came across it. So I went and checked it out. So Adam in Hebrew, again, so Hebrew, how was it all originally written down? And it means living breath or earth. Oh, well, that kind of makes sense. And Eve, which originally was actually not Eve, but Isha, which, yeah, I find that interesting. My son's name is Ishi. And Isha kind of translates as woman, okay? So, anyway, uh, translates as woman. And what now? Eve kind of translates as, I forgot. It's early in the morning. I'm still tired. Well, in any case, so which then brought me to thinking, oh, that's interesting on how did, and if you're into science as well, that Earth was not created in 6 days and not 6,000 some years ago, okay? And Adam and Eve were definitely not the first people on Earth. All right, done. That's been, okay, kind of established. And yet, right, there was a change. Right? When, okay, that living breath and earth came to understanding to the first, what, man, okay, per se. And on how then woman, right, kind of was taught by man, or should have been, so Adam, okay, being suddenly becoming aware of not just instinctively living yet, right, with the purpose of the oh a physical existence, right, earth, living breath, earth, right, understanding. So it seems like Adam and Eve, and there's Eve, there was something else that went with it, and I can't remember now, were created, then suddenly had the awareness, right, of a higher existence, a greater existence. Of God? No, of themselves. Yes? All right. Which then would make sense why the man is supposed to be the head of the household in a family, as a husband and a father, because he's also was in the beginning, right? Yes? All right. God chose, okay, he could have chosen woman, right? But he chose man, right? Adam, right? In a sense, the more stronger physical presence, when it came to that, on earth, and to then take care, of course, of what? Eve. That's why the rib. Okay, if if you believe all in the apple, the snake, and the rib from Adam that created woman and all that jazz, well then okay. It's a simplified thinking, a simplified teaching, right? Yes, but where it all started when it came to that. You dig a little deeper, right, and start to understand the language. Oh, what language did that come from? What kind of meaning does it have? And it has several meanings. Adam has several meanings. So does Eve, right? Have several meanings. But the original name of Eve was Isha, woman. Okay, yeah. And on how man, Adam, the living breath, earth. Oh, suddenly the consciousness of physical awareness, right? Not just, as I said, living on instinct, this and that, for survival, but having that awareness of being on earth, living a life, right? What it entails to have a family, to create children. So then, of course, we call God our Heavenly Father, right? Yes, because that's a kind of seems to be how do you say, the proper sequence, right? Yes, yet that gives man also, Adam, a great responsibility, yes, to elevate woman, yeah, right? To then teach woman, yes, and then of course taking care of the family, the woman, and the children. And that's something I feel like has really gone lost, even though how many people actually believe in God? A lot of them all around the world. Yet that concept on why God actually created Adam and Eve, or gave them this awareness, created this awareness, yes, is that, does that still go? Is that still really anchored in mankind? Has it ever been anchored in mankind? Right? Yes. Well, anyway, so people fight over stuff like that. And again, you dig a little bit deeper. If this is something you want to talk about, if this is something that you need in your life to make a point because of who you want to be, what you want your station to be, how you want to be acknowledged, then make sure that you do first the studying. Right? If one doesn't care, as I said, this is fine too. Right? As long as one understands, then you also go with just the 10 simple rules of the 10 commandments, and you follow and obey those. Right? Yes. Okay. Or dig a little deeper and say, okay, what do those 10 commandments actually mean? Do we just get to change them however we want to? Or do we actually follow them? And why do we follow them? Oh, then you go back into the greater of Genesis. Okay, let's dig a little deeper there. What does it mean? What does man, Adam, the name Adam, actually even mean? Yes? And Isha, Eve, translate, again, why was the name Isha changed to Eve? Because actually there is the root of something, and when it comes to the name Eve, also has to do with a snake. Oh, really? Oh, okay. So early on, someone already changed that. Change that to something that then the woman can be blamed. Okay. Okay, for whatever. But when it comes down to it, yes, man, Adam, was given with sudden consciousness of living breath, earth, a great responsibility. Yes? Yeah, yeah. There, not to blame the woman. Anyway, also interesting. So misunderstandings. I thought my granddaughter and I would talk about misunderstandings. Watching hoarders. Oh, my goodness sakes. These poor people. How you just have to feel for them. And the mindset that they are in a way. Okay? I mean that's just one side effect of spiritual confusion, right? Yes, it is. It's just every a hoarder doesn't just suddenly develop hoarding. I'm sorry. Isn't born with hoarding. I said that the wrong way around. They suddenly start to. They may have a tendency of acquiring things, liking collecting things or something, but it's still okay, you know. And then something happens in their life, and it completely goes out of control. I mean, completely goes out of control, like with many other different things, right? That are consequences in people's lives, in our lives as mankind, that aren't balanced anymore, right? It's usually something that we can't digest. It's not digested properly. Well, how does it get digested properly? Honestly, people, I don't think it can be done without the guidance of God, the belief in God, being anchored, right? And the knowing of God. Yes, and what is that? Well, there you go. The living breath, earth. What is that? That's two things combined, physical and spiritual life. To acknowledge that and to study that within ourselves. Uh, it's a wonderful thing, really, when it comes down to it. Anyway, misunderstandings and on how, we're watching and we're kind of saying, okay, let's see what's going to happen. What are they going to have to do? What are they going to say? How to get out of getting rid of things, or on how, if they're going to get defensive for this, and and sometimes on how someone would try to relate something, came across completely wrong. I mean, was understood completely wrong. Um, because the other person, right? Yes, isn't on the same. It's like they were walking past each other, right? Not recognizing each other, right? On what the one or the other wanted to convey. Yes, which helped me as well because in this one group that I go in and just check things out, it's exactly the same thing. In a way, the people are both saying the same things for different reasons, yes. But there is definitely a common denominator that nobody seems to be willing to explore so that you can understand the common denominator that you actually have. Why? Because you are human, right? Both human. We're all human, supposed to be anyway. Well, anywho, so there it is. I know this is a little complicated. I could say a whole lot more about it, but I went and checked out um, the names and what they mean, Adam and Eve, and where did they come from. And it's, of course, language, right? Yes, Hebrew means different things. And Isha, the first woman, was called Isha, not Eve, supposedly. And our son's named Ishi, which, interestingly enough, in the language that we named him in, which is Yahi, from the Yahi tribe, and Ishi means man or person. Interesting? Yeah, okay. Uh, I have to tell my sons about that. Yeah. It's an interesting thing. My name, Daniela? Yeah. Is translated as God is my judge, not anybody else. I love that. I'm going with it. And of course, most likely the name has something to do with Daniel in the lion's den, right? Yes, nobody decided there, judged Daniel except for God. God was Daniel's judge. Is he going to make it? Is he not? Yeah, all them lions. Well, anywho, so there it is. All right, we are in the second book of Kings in 3. More war, guys. The Moabite War. Oh, maybe that'll come back to mind later. I saw another good one on that, on how Elisha. Okay, now see, I'm talking about it. Well, maybe if I say this on how Elisha put salt in the water, in the contaminated water, right? Okay, I saw a good one this morning. I said, yeah, it's a God works with people. Then you can give a little. Okay, that's really funny anyway. All right. Let's get going. The Moabite War. Introduction to the reign of Jehoram in Israel, 852 to 841. Well, he was in power for a few years, was it? 10 years? Jehoram, son of Ahab, became king of Israel in Samaria in the 18th year of Jehoshaphat, king of Judah, and reigned for 12 years. He did what is displeasing to Yahweh, though not like his father and mother, for he did away with the pillar to Baal which his father had made. Nonetheless, he continued to practice the sins into which Jeroboam, son of Nebat, had led Israel and did not give them up. Well, sounds like he did, though. Okay, I don't know. The expedition of Israel and Judah against Moab. Mesha, king of Moab, was a sheep breeder and used to pay the king of Israel in tribute 100,000 lambs and 100,000 rams with their wool. But when Ahab died, the king of Moab rebelled against the king of Israel. Yeah, why is that? Why do they have to? See, I tell you what, this is what are you supposed to? If God were in charge, okay, if God, I'm trying to, okay, why are these wars all happening? Was it because outside people wanted something of Israel, or maybe they wanted something back? Or how about, no, we're not under your yoke anymore now? Huh? Well, how would God, if the Israelites would have actually just followed God's guidance, right, and not put all them kings who obviously are no good, none of them, okay, for the people of Israel, what if it would have been just God guiding them? Would God have suddenly said, oh, yeah, go and, oh, we know that also, well, they fought against that one and these ones and I don't know what. And God was in charge. And yeah, and God, no, they lost the Ark of the Covenant, if you guys have forgotten, okay, in one of them. Okay, all right, all right, all right. So, again, so God was guiding the people of Israel to go into all them wars and take people as slaves and kill them all off and I don't know what and take all their stuff. That's how God was guiding the people of Israel? I doubt that very much. But that's how they took it. Then they had their kings, this and that, and just went on, right? And here now, right, you have people who are going, why do I have to give you all this? I need that for my own people, right? Okay, so why did they all go to war against each other? Huh? Or suddenly, oh, they rebelled. Uh, okay. And of course, I mean, I'm supposed to be in favor of whom? But again, what if God would have guided consistently the people of Israel and they would have accepted just God's guidance? You know, with all the prophets too, so there are 400 prophets in the chapter before, all the hundreds of prophets, where they come from? Are they all Levites? Why are they not called the tribe of Levites, right? Of the prophets from the tribe of the Levites? It's hardly ever mentioned. Right? Elijah was the Tishbite, right? Not the Levite. I'm just saying, right? What is all this? Where is the actual guidance of God? But here it is again. And I'm reading this first part. I'm going, oh my gosh, what? How much wool this snap did they have to give as kind of tribute? Oh, so that Israel won't go and kill them all? Okay, just saying, right? This is so sad. This is just sad to read. Ugh, okay. Oh, what has man become? The living breath. Huh? On earth. Understanding. Oh, having that consciousness of physical life. What did they do? Started doing immediately, just about. That's why we were given consciousness, living breath? Huh? Really? Okay. I guess it makes sense to some. At once King Jehoram left Samaria and mustered all Israel. After this he sent word to the king of Judah. The king of Moab has rebelled against me. Will you go to war with me against Moab? I will, he replied. I will be as you, my men as yours, my horses as yours. He said that to the other one too, and added, which way are we to attack? Through the desert of Edom, the other answered. So they set out, the king of Israel, the king of Judah, and the king of Edom. Oh, another king. Three kings now. The king of Edom. I can't remember how that happened. They carried out a flanking movement for 7 days until there was no water left for the troops or for the beasts of their baggage train. Alas, the king of Israel exclaimed, Yahweh has summoned us 3 kings only to put us into the power of Moab. What was I talking about? On how, yes, yeah, okay. On how this misunderstanding happens, where the name Isha, woman, for woman, mankind, when she also received the living breath, in a way, was changed into Eve to make her the snake. In case things fail. And here, who's being blamed? Here, we're called by Yahweh. Who says who? Yeah. So that the people of Moab, the Moabites, can kill us all. Right? Really? Is that it? It's interesting where the blame is being put, right? But the king of Judah said, Is there no prophet of Yahweh here for us to consult Yahweh through him? One of the king of Israel's servants answered, Elisha, son of Shaphat, is here, who used to pour water on the hands of Elijah. The words of Yahweh is with him. The king of Judah said. So the king of Israel, the king of Judah, and the king of Edom went to consult him. But Elisha said to the king of Israel, What business have you with me? Go to your father's and your mother's prophets. No, the king of Israel answered, Yahweh is the one who has summoned us 3 kings, only to put us into the power of Moab. Wow, okay then. Elisha replied, By the life of Yahweh Sabaoth, whom I serve, if I did not respect the king of Judah, I would take no notice of you, nor so much as look at you. Now bring me someone who can play the lyre. And as the musician played, the hand of Yahweh came on him. And he said, Yahweh says this, dig in this valley, ditch after ditch. For Yahweh says, you will see no wind, you will see no rain, but this valley will become full of water, and you and your troops and your baggage animals will drink. But this is only a trifle in Yahweh's eyes, for he will put Moab itself into your power. Another thing too, okay, let's see. You will storm every fortified town, fell every productive tree, block every water hole, ruin all the best fields with stones. Next morning, at the time when the oblation was being offered, water came from the direction of Edom, and the whole terrain was flooded. Interesting. Digging holes, right? Okay, we already know Elisha has a thing with water, right? He kind of knows about water. Oh, he may have studied water. I don't know. Yeah. And so he knows, okay, you know the people that go around with them sticks to find water? Yes, that's a really old way to find water. There's other ways. Right? I've come across some people who were amazing on sniffing the air or just noticing certain things about the ground and knowing where water was. Right? Looking at trees, for example, right? On where there is water. I've mentioned this before on how sycamore trees, right? They can pull water up. They don't just use it all for themselves. Right? Sycamore trees, they pull water up to the surface for other things around them. Yeah, all right, yes, yeah, okay. Anyway, so I could very well see that, Elisha, okay, let me think. What kind of territory is that? Okay, if they dig down some, there is water going to start to collect, right? Yes, and they'll have some water. All right. Okay. I could see that happening. That doesn't have to be, as I said again, what I talk about. Yeah, when Adam was given that living breath, a recognition of physical life, Earth. Right? There was an intelligence also that came with it. Right? Yes, given to all of us when it comes down to it. So, just saying. Right? Yes. Okay. Wow. Besides, animals can sniff out water, right? Yes. Okay. All right. All right. So you combine the instinct now with knowledge. Oh. All right. And you just saying. When the Moabites learned that the kings were advancing to fight them, all those of an age to bear arms were mobilized. They took up position on the frontier. In the morning, when they got up, the sun was shining on the water, and in the distance the Moabites saw the water as red as blood. This is blood, they said. The kings must have fought among themselves and killed one another. So now for the booty, Moab. But when they reached the Israelite camp, the Israelites launched their attack, and the Moabites fled before them. And as they advanced, they cut the Moabites to pieces. Yuck! They laid the towns in ruins, and each man threw a stone into all the best fields to fill them up, and they blocked every water hole and felled every productive tree. In the end, there was only Kir Hareset left, which the slingers surrounded and bombarded. When the king of Moab saw that the battle had turned against him, he mustered 700 swordsmen in the hope of breaking a way out and going to the king of Aram. But he failed. Then he took his eldest son, who was to succeed him, and offered him as a sacrifice on the city wall. Alarmed at this, the Israelites withdrew and retired to their own territory. What? That's weird. Why would you... Okay, I don't know what. This doesn't make any sense. That last part doesn't make any sense. So here they are, for one reason or another, and they're cutting them into pieces, this, that, yeah, no doubt, everything will be bloody. So, again, what came before and actually after, and how is the story told, and how are things pulled a little bit out of sequence, okay, whatever. But here they are, cutting everybody into pieces, this and that. Then the king of the Moabites offers his sons on the city walls if they don't retreat or something, and the Israelites go, oh no, it's going to kill someone. I don't know, was it a baby? Did they actually? Well, why would they? They've killed plenty of baby boys as well. The Israelites did. Why would they care about their enemy's baby boy's son? I don't know. I have no idea. Doesn't make any sense. As I said, does anybody make sense out of this? You can't. You can't make sense out of it because it's probably some kind of a misunderstanding going on what the translation actually is. As I said, just reading up on where the names Adam and Eve came from. Oh, wait a minute. How Eve's name was changed. Okay, I'm just... What else isn't right written down properly here? I'm just wondering. All these different meanings that things have. I know how it is in my own language that I grew up with, my mother tongue. There are so many different ways on explaining something, or if I just say one sentence of something, that could mean 2 or 3 different things if I don't add to it. Or there is something from before, right? Yes? Yeah? Yeah, it's kind of like, I think one can only get absolute understanding of anything, right, if one follows the rule on how an essay is written, where there is a beginning, a middle part, and an ending. If you just take the middle part, right, and people go by that, then they're missing two important parts, yes, that make up the whole story, that gives understanding to the whole story. Right? You can just take the ending and again, you can just take the beginning and again, right? Or just take the beginning and the end and again, or take the, okay, you see how many different ways can people write something down that is not the whole story? Many different times, many different ways. Yeah? And then, well, is there a surprise that the whole truth isn't there? Is there any truth anymore there? Because then when the people take all this and start to translate it, well, then they're making their own essay out of it with a beginning, a middle, and an end. Or maybe just a beginning and the middle, forgetting the end. Oh, the middle and the end. Oh, now it starts all over again. Huh? Suddenly, what, is there any truth anymore in these stories? Is there or is there not? Because the misunderstandings now are more numerous than the understanding. And what does that lead to? Oh, okay. Well, there it is. Yes? All right. So, I think there is one very simple bottom line to all of that. With the whole story, as we can perceive it, and that is that every child, number one, has the right to live. Yeah, well, things happen, but has the right to live. We do not get to decide if a child lives or not. And number two, that every child is taken care of until they reach adulthood. And then adults will be taken care of too. Yes, okay. I think people don't get what I'm talking about now and want to make a misunderstanding out of it or start arguing about it. Well, whatever. You're the problem. Just like this is a problem. One should understand what I'm talking about. Every child deserves a home, a good home, with at least one parent. Yes, it happens that a parent passes away. Okay? Yes? All right. Might not be there due to a job or this or that. It happens. Okay? Just to abandon your family? No, that's not all right. Done. I've already been clear about that. But every child deserves a home, a good home to be raised in properly. If one can't agree on that, well, I don't know. As I said, then you're going to like the Bible just as it is written. And you're going to go with it. Go, oh yeah, God was with, oh yeah, uh-huh. Okay. God was against some and for others. And the way to do that is eliminate people. Yes, including children. All right. Just saying. Yes. If this last part is true, and they saw that king was about to sacrifice his own son, and they turned back, I wonder why. Why did they turn back? What suddenly changed their mind? What would one more baby, child, young man, killed by his own father, sacrificed by his own father, have anything to do with them? Or why would they care, even? Right? Oh. Well, anyway, there it is. I don't have much more to say. Oh. So, a friend posted has kind of a funny, there's a tattoo, a funny tattoo with a clothesline with a clown outfit hanging there, something else, I can't remember now. And underneath it said, "Don't dig for water under the outhouse." Yes, Oh no! Immediately, Alicia, putting salt in the water, says, "Oh, fix our water. Something's not right. We have people are getting sick and children are miscarrying. This, nah." And Elijah looks, probably goes, "Man, you nasty people." Goes and puts as a again people. If you just tell again, if you just tell people, say, "Look, you the hoarders." You need to make a change in your life here. This isn't normal. This is nasty. It's gross. And there wasn't one house where nastiness was not found under all the piles and piles and piles. Even when it looked good, it was still there. Okay? And right there, you can't, just telling those people, hey, do you not get what's going on here? You yourself, you're not getting what's going on here. You're that daft in your mind. You're that unwilling. This not just has something to do with mental health. Unwilling to just admit. Yep. So Alicia has to find some way. Okay, I'll take some salt, put it in there, make it look like I'm cleaning as God. Yeah. Right. But well, now take care of. Don't do certain things anymore. Right. Yes. And that's how the way the people then understands. Oh, yeah, yeah. Because of what? Because of the ceremony ahead of time? Ah, interesting. Anyway, so I saw that, and immediately Alicia came back to mind with the uh, contaminated water, right? Yeah. Don't do in streams and rivers and then pretend not to know the consequences. Yeah? Yes. All right. Well, anyway, so there it is. Interesting. How this always all ties together. I finally have some eggs. And milk, more milk. And all the children will be here. My grandchildren. And we're going to make Christmas cookies today. Yes, my Landerly. Today we're going to make my Landerly. Yeah, that's what we're going to do. And I want to make some Zimtsterne, Schokiherzli, Haselnussstangerli. Mmm. Yes. And I want to make a Christmas Stolle. That's a Christmas bread. Yeah. Yes. It's kind of like a panettone, but it's not panettone. But it's kind of like a panettone, but it's not a panettone. Well, anyway. It's a Swiss panettone that doesn't look like a panettone, but it kind of tastes a little like a panettone, but it's much better than a panettone, even though I like panettone too. Yeah, that's about the only fruit bread that I like. Well, actually, yeah, when it has that fake candied, or the fake, that, not the just regular dried fruits in it, but that candied stuff. Blech, that I don't like that. That green and red, bright green and red. I don't like that. That is like, ugh, nah. Why would you put that in a good bread, right? I like it when with the fresh dried fruit, without all that other stuff on it. And then a fruit bread is actually really good. Yeah. Fruit cake, fruit bread, fruit cake. Well, anyway, interesting. So we have one in Switzerland. That's very, very good, though. Yeah. Well, anywho, so there it is. Yep, that's what I'm going to do today. Oh, and we started a puzzle. Oh, yeah, 1,000-piece puzzle. Which there's a piece laying right there on the floor. I better pick that up. There's 3 cats living here, They probably have a lot of fun with those pieces. I gotta make sure every day that I check from where the pieces went till it's done. And my granddaughter and I, we started the edge yesterday, and we had it done. We had the edge done, and there were pieces missing. I said, Danny, there's a whole bunch of pieces missing. I wonder, said, oh gosh, I hope there aren't pieces missing in this puzzle. Here we're looking, maybe we put some wrong together, but it looked all okay. My daughter gets home. My daughter loves puzzles too. Whole family. We've sat around for, gosh, weeks around puzzles and make puzzles. Every so often we still do that. So we're doing it here again. And she sits down, but Danny, my granddaughter, she cooked the cream sauce for the spaghetti yesterday. Not a tomato sauce. It's like a what's it called? Well, anyway, it's a cream sauce, and she made it. She did a good job. I supervised, but she did it. And so after she ate, she looked. She sits. She immediately. My daughter comes home. She worked 12-hour shift. Okay, sits down and starts looking. Says, "Mom, this isn't right here." I said, "Well, it looks right." She says, "Well, it's not." I said, "Well, how can you see?" Anyway, so her and her husband were sitting there for another couple hours. Danny and I went upstairs and watched some more Hoarders. We'd already worked on that puzzle for an hour and a half, and we went upstairs and they sat down here for another couple hours, and she got it all figured out. Okay, and with him, with my son-in-law, they got it all figured out and what we did wrong, Danny and I, on the edges. and then they did three corners. They started on three corners. Yes, see, yes, what a cool thing. Puzzles, such a cool thing. Anyway, so yeah, Danny and I, our eyes were starting to get cross-eyed from trying to figure out what did we do wrong? Did we do something wrong? We kept looking through the puzzle pieces, 1,000 of them, to see if we missed any of the edges. Right? Yeah, couldn't find any. We probably can't see them. No, turns out we hadn't put the edges all together properly. How can you not tell? Well, we couldn't. Ah, lesson to be learned in everything. Sometimes you need to have the eyes of someone else, right? Fresh eyes to look at a situation as well and say, hey guys, you haven't figured this out quite right here, right? But this way it'll work. Yeah. Good lessons this morning. Yes, yes, yes. All right. Well, that's all I have to share today. God's love and blessings always. May He protect you, and I will talk to you all another time.